Good morning, everyone. Alexandra Lopez, immigration attorney. It is Thursday, December 18th, and Trump's new denaturalization initiative has been making waves in the media. So let's get into it and talk about what this really means. Traditionally, about 11 denaturalization cases per year on average were brought by the government. Now, denaturalization is the process of stripping someone from citizenship who obtain citizenship through naturalization. In other words, they are not a natural born citizen. They were first a green card holder, had to meet certain requirements, stringent requirements, and then apply for citizenship. And again, on average, the government brought about 11 of these cases per year. The Trump administration has announced that they want to bring between 100 and 200 cases per month. Okay, so over 1,000 cases per year. This is a drastic increase. And the reason that this is such a big deal is that this creates two levels of citizenship, right? So people who were born, are natural born citizens, not necessarily born in the US, but citizens at birth, even if they were born abroad, perhaps born to US citizens, they are like tier 1 citizens. And those who are naturalized are now tier 2 citizens because they can be stripped of this citizenship. And although it was always the case that they could be stripped of citizenship, it was generally used sparingly. Now, people who are in this second tier of citizens, those who have been naturalized, are going to feel restricted in their movements. Why? They're going to be less politically active or outspoken, especially if they are against this administration. They're going to be less inclined to be, voices in public or in the media and express their opinions or even act on their opinions, something that a natural-born citizen would not be afraid to do. And they are likely to focus on people who are from a specific group of countries, the people that are probably on the travel ban, right? That list of countries, a lot of African countries, a lot of traditionally Muslim countries are on that ban, and I imagine that's where they're going to start. It's basically weaponization, right, of civil proceedings. Government attorneys need to file naturalization proceedings in federal court. This is not in EOIR. And the reason that it's important to distinguish that it's not a criminal proceeding is that these individuals who are going to be brought into court have no right to counsel. So there's going to be this added obstacle of obtaining an attorney specialized in denaturalized cases, which is a very specific, specialization. In addition to people from this list of countries, other groups of people that will probably be targeted are those who obtain their green cards through some type of discretionary benefit. Discretionary benefit is something like asylum, individuals with green cards through VAWA, through U visas, or that required a waiver with a family-based petition. So an I-601A waiver, an I-212 waiver. Those are all discretionary decisions by either an immigration judge or a USCIS officer in granting, asylum. And as such, discretion is very ambiguous. And those are easy to attack, right? The requirements are not quite as black and white. Additionally, they're going to be screening for fraud. The issue is that fraud could also mean an inadvertent admission or an inadvertent omission, or simply something that an individual forgot but isn't really material. So your date of entry, for example, you made an estimate or you thought it was a date, the date that you entered, and there was either a clerical error when you entered it, or you actually input the wrong date, but it was not intentional. These are things that could be used as weapons to denaturalize someone and say, hey, you obtained your naturalization through fraud. I mean, the bottom line is that this creates two tiers of citizenship. It completely weakens citizenship as a legal status. It burdens disproportionately immigrants and communities of color. It uses civil tools to impose like existential penalties. And it is a way of quieting voices, of asserting power over citizens who maybe don't share the same opinion as the current administration.